6 months ago, I bought this Audi E-Tron 55, and in the last 6 months, I have done 16,000 kilometers or 10,000 miles with my Audi E-Tron. And in today's video, I'm gonna give you guys my 6 months review. I'm gonna tell you what I like, what I don't like, what I still find awesome, and what annoys the heck out of me. Since the car is only 6 months old, yeah, well, there shouldn't be too much to report on when it comes to the exterior and how it is held up. But I have a few things here. So first off, this wheel I managed to curb pretty badly a few months back in Bergen when I hit this large pothole where they had some road constructions. And yeah, look how high I've hit that. So, I mean, these are my winter wheels, so I'm not too worried and too sad, but yeah, it's always a pity to curb a wheel. And then I noticed something here, a small scratch here. I don't know, that might be a road chip. And then I have these stains here, but I could easily wash that away. But, you know, that comes with having a white car. You will have, you know, things from the road just, yeah, staining your car. And then I have, you know, the biggest damage is this up front, which I did at a Circle K charger once when I was filming, and, you know, I hit the pole because the connectors at these Circle K chargers are very short, so I have to get as close as possible. And I have the creep function turned off on this car because, yeah, I don't like the creep function, and it not having one pedal driving. And it was a slight uphill. It was a bit hard to modulate, so I actually hit the pole here and I broke this. This is also broken, and I've actually also, you know, damaged the paint here and also on the grill. So that is a pity, but I had actually forgot about that until I filmed it now. But other than that, I mean, is this just here also? So I'm not sure. I don't think I've hit anything. Maybe somebody has hit me. But yeah, I mean, it's a car, you will always get these marks here and there. But other than that, I mean, no dents, no nothing. I haven't been too unlucky. And also on the rear end, yeah. So not a lot to report about, but still a pity, you know, the car only being 6 months old. And then we have, well, how has the interior held up? Well, I mean, I didn't vacuum my mess there. I am sorry, guys. But yeah, I mean, the doors look brand new. The seats also, could you just use a quick wipe over? But I mean, I wiped them like maybe a week or two ago. But it being a light colored interior, you know, you want to wash this as often as possible with something that is very mild to keep it, you know, nice and matte and looking new. I mean, yeah, I mean, the leather looks pretty new. If I wipe this down, you wouldn't manage to see the difference between this and a new car. And a lot of press cars I drive, you know, with much lower mileage than what I have on mine, look much worse. So, I mean, the maintenance really will help you. And also you can look at the passenger seat, looks pretty nice. And on the steering wheel, I have a slight here. I don't know if the camera's catching that, but I mean, somebody must have who borrowed my car, because I do lend it to friends and family from time to time. May have just, you know, hit something here. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty nice and looking. So my only, you know, other part for concern is where my kid sits here and in and out of daycare. You can see that, yeah, it gets dirty, but I mean, it's leather, it's easy to clean, but I should probably have, you know, some protection here, and also on the seat back. And also the seat is put way too back. I could put that forward, but yeah, you can see here. But I mean, the interior is kind of rough and tough. I mean, kind of tough. So I'm not too worried about this. It is built really well. So I mean, this is the Valcona leather, which according to Audi is like Nappa leather, but much tougher. It's one of their toughest leathers. So I'm not too worried, and I haven't gotten any marks. And you can see here on the passenger side, which basically isn't used. Yeah, so I mean the leather is still holding up pretty nice, and also the glossy black plastic seems to be of high quality. No scratches, no marks, though I mean it's kind of hard to keep clean. I should probably have something like a microfiber cloth, but here I have a small, it's really hard to get on camera, there's a small mark there, but not too much. Getting into my Audi E-Tron, especially after, you know, driving another EV, which I do almost on a daily basis at this point, I do get annoyed about some of, you know, the solutions they have done here in the E-Tron that other EVs just do a lot better. So first off, you have the center console, which is kind of big. I mean, I commend them that it is spacious, but the way that it is laid out is just, I mean, I don't know why they did it this way. And then you have, you know, these openings here on the side. I'm not sure why they did it. So first off, so it is very deep. So if you have drinks, they sit very low. And I guess that's kind of not fine if you drink big bottles. But I mean, these cup holders aren't the widest. So it's, you know, limited how big of a drink you can fit down there. And then you can see my sunglasses are here because where else am I going to place them? There's no room here, and also no room up here. So, I mean, yeah, just going to get that out of the way. And then but you do have this cover, so I guess you could place them up there, but then you don't have a cup holder. I mean, it's just really weird. And then you have the wireless charging pad, which I've complained about so many times. So it is angled away from you, like that. So I mean, it's so impractical to use in real life while you're driving. It's angled away against you, and you have to, you know, have it smack on the middle, or else your phone won't charge. So I usually find myself, you know, fiddling about down here, and then I get the message that it's charging, and then it's not charging. So it's super annoying. And also, this is one of the most useless chargers I have ever tested, because it actually doesn't charge my phone. If I'm lucky, it holds the charge. And I know I have the iPhone 12 Pro, and there have been issues with wireless charging pads and this phone. But before I had that, I had the 11 Pro, which I also had the same problems with. So that's why I have this cable here to charge my phone, which just works flawlessly. So that really annoys me. And then also, so you turn on the ignition, which is, you know, a button. Totally fine. I'm not complaining about that. And then the car is on. So first off, the lane keep assist is on by default. So you have to hit this button on the outside of the stock here every time you get into the car to turn that off. And I do appreciate that you have a button here to turn it on and off, because that's really nice. I use that a lot. But why does it have to be on by default? So that is annoying. And also, so you can see the car is in park. So if I pull this, it goes into drive. But when it's in drive, the response is really sluggish and slow, and you only have the 360 horsepower from the engine or the motors. And then you pull it one more time, it goes into S, and that means you have, you know, normal EV response and also the full 408 horsepower. So that is my procedure. And then there is the last thing, and that is this car lacks regenerative braking. So it doesn't have one pedal driving, so you have to pull these levers here. So you can see down here, if I pull it once, you can barely see it. So this section under the needle there moves. So up and then down. So it's really hard to see, but at least I do get some regen when I do that. So you don't have one pedal driving. Of course, this car has regen braking, but I meant it doesn't have one pedal driving. The closest thing is to pull these, but every time you get into the car, you have to pull them again. And also every time you activate and deactivate the cruise control, you have to activate it again. So that's my whole procedure every time I get into this car, and that is super annoying. But then on the flip side, every time you get into this car, you get to do this. Oh, that just sounds and feels so solid. And you get to interact with this piece of metal here, which people find, you know, weird. Some people may find it annoying, but it's covered in this beautiful leather. It's a nice handle to just grab and to rest your hand. And this piece of metal here is one of the nicest, most mechanical feeling shifters of any car. It's just so nice to use. Yeah. Audi make probably the best switchgear in the world. And then you also have this volume knob here, which is super nice, of super high quality. And also I went for the, you know, the glass optics package in my car, giving you, you know, these anodized aluminum buttons here, and also the window switches. So everything you touch and feel is of such high quality. The stalks, the buttons here, and I love it being a 4-spoke steering wheel. This car isn't even trying to be sporty. 4-spoke steering wheel, so you can rest your hand here, and everything, the metal here, the glossy plastics, the leathers, the everything feels so high quality. The rest of this interior still feels super solid and really luxurious after 6 months. I haven't grown tired of it at all. It feels modern. Everything is of such high quality. As I said, the switchgear, the materials, the beautiful leathers, everything is just really expensive feeling, and it feels bank vault solid. I mean, there's no wonder why this car, this MLB Evo platform, is also the basis for the Bentley Bentayga, the Porsche Cayenne, and also the Lamborghini Urus, because it's an awesome platform. What I enjoy the absolutely most about this Audi E-Tron, and something that is especially apparent when hopping into this from any other EV or any other car on the market, is just how quiet and silent it is. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're doing 30 kilometers an hour, if you're doing 50, or you're doing 100. I mean, it really doesn't matter, because raising the speed doesn't do anything about the noise and NVH levels. It's as quiet at 10 as it is at 120 kilometers an hour. Yes, this does have the double laminated, the, you know, acoustic glass, which makes probably the most quiet EV on the market even quieter. So, I mean, at highway speeds, especially on a road trip, this is such a comfortable car to travel in. I mean, it really is in its own class. And then you have the ride quality, and there are a lot of cars that ride good. I mean, I've driven a lot of cars. I've had a lot of cars that ride good. A lot of cars that are supple, soft, and comfortable. This does that, but this has, I don't know how they do it, but I would call it witchcraft air suspension, where it takes a bad road, which in any other car would be like, oh, this is a bad road. And even in something like a Volvo XC90 or a Mercedes-Benz EQC, where you would be like, I'm comfy now, this is really comfortable. But what this car does to that road is that it just smooths out the road, where you don't have the motion, you don't feel the suspension moving up and down. It just irons the road out like the road isn't bad. I mean, this makes bad roads feel like they're smooth paved. I haven't driven another car that does what this car does to bad roads, and I mean, that is so impressive, because you really do forget that the roads are as bad as they are. So comfort and quietness in this car is, I mean, it's second to none. I haven't driven a car that comes close, that is, I know, below this price point. Maybe cars twice the price will be as comfortable, but at this price point, this is an amazing, you know, feat of engineering. So I just connected the charger like a minute ago, and we are now at 95 kilowatts of charging speed. So, you know, not the most rapid charging speed. I haven't, you know, been driving the car on any motorways or not doing anything artificial. But what will happen now is that the longer we are connected, the faster speed we are going to get. So we're going to check in. It is now 2 o'clock. Okay, so let's check in about 5 minutes to check the speed. 5 minutes later, and we are now at 114 kilowatts. So this speed is just gonna climb and climb and climb. So let's check in again at about 10 minutes. 8 minutes later, guys, we are now at 146 kilowatts, and we're just gonna keep climbing and, you know, have maximum speed up until about 80% state of charge. Yeah, this car is king when it comes to charging. And yeah, we just hit 147 briefly there. And this car under ideal conditions will actually charge from 10 to 80% stated charge in 25 minutes. That is insane. The WLTP rates this car at 436 kilometers, but that is under ideal conditions and ideal temperatures. I have not had this car when it has been summer. I got it in mid-September last year, and I basically only had winter weather when I have had this car. But what I can say from the test I have done in the wintertime on the motorway under less than ideal and cold conditions, you can expect in the range of 230, maybe 240 kilometers of range on the motorway with this car. And, you know, on a slower B road or country road, maybe like 330 to 350. So in the summertime, I'm guessing around 300 kilometers on a motorway till around 400 kilometers on a slower B road or country road. But I'll have to do those tests again, you know, in the springtime and in the summertime to give you a conclusive answer there. The Audi E-Tron is quiet, comfortable, fast, spacious and practical, has an exceptionally well put together with awesome tech, and is luxurious on the inside. It also has air suspension, making it versatile. This car in particular has the Bang & Olufsen sound system, which also sounds amazing. I mean, there are very few negative things about this car, but the only major thing is the range. The mediocre range that may put off a lot of people. But the tests I have done, especially with the Norwegian high-speed run, which is a 600-kilometer trip on basically motorways and high-speed country roads, where we put the real-world travel time of an EV to the test, where we are exceeding the range, which we do in every EV. This car on a 600-kilometer, 7-hour trip is only 11 minutes off the pace of the Tesla Model 3 long range, which sits up top of the board and is basically the most efficient EV on the market. So that goes to show you guys that fast charging can compensate for shorter range and also higher consumption. So in the real world, well, that real range isn't that big of a penalty. So that is at least something to consider if you're considering getting a car like this. But I can highly recommend the Audi E-Tron because it's such a pleasure to live with. I really do love this car, and getting back into this car after all the other EVs I drive on a weekly basis, well, I still find it amazing. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below. And for more car content, as always guys, please subscribe. See you guys later and goodbye.